a simple lullaby, baby, carried over oceans to find me.
But how did you start? Did you start writing or start playing guitar or start in hip hop? Like,
yeah, that's another one. Let's see. I started. I've always been a hip hop head. That's like pretty much what I grew up listening to.
mm-hmm.
But at the same time, you know, the years I grew up, you had like Tupac and, you know, Metallica, you know, on the radio at the same time. So it's like, okay, well, this is cool and this is cool, and why should I limit myself? But anyway, I started out like rapping. I always loved hip hop. It was just something I did as a hobby though, because it felt like a sport to me. You know, it wasn't more like it was an art form, but it was just like, all right, I just want to be better than this next guy. You know, which kind of transferred into when I started playing music. My mother bought me a guitar when I was like 6 or 7 years old, to kind of keep me out of trouble, because I was a pretty wild kid. And I mean, the first one I think I smashed or whatever. I was just like, what is this thing? Give me a drum, you know? Of course, I was just like, I don't know. But after a while, I started learning songs, and then instead of like trying to copy people, I just started making up my own stuff.
Yeah.
So I put the hip hop on the back burner because that was something that was really natural to me. It wasn't really work, you know. And but the guitar just fascinated me, because there were so many different, so many different things. You could play classical, you could play flamenco, you could play metal, you could play punk, and then you could put all those together and just make something else. But the guitar was pretty much my passion for the biggest part of my life.
Totally. So you're doing that, and you have like that harder side, but you also have the hip hop going on, which very recently you became a curator with the No Bullshit Hip Hop Show at Hail Hail.
Absolutely.
Which I hosted, coincidentally.
She did host. Great host right here.
But tell us about that, the process of being a curator and bringing people together and like having that show on your back now, and being a performer.
Well, one thing I'll say is when I do it again, I probably won't perform.
Okay.
You know, that was just like the maiden voyage, and I wanted to let people know that this was quality music that was coming out, and it wasn't just a bunch of like, haphazard people coming together to be like, we can spit, you know. And but okay, that point being stated, the way it came about actually is probably watching people like you and just a lot of the people that I came in contact with within the last year from going solo. I've watched them like curate shows, and again, you've hit me up like, here, do this show, do that show, and I watched the way you put it together, and I'm like, fuck, this is awesome. Like, I would love to do this, but I'd love to do it in a hip hop format because nobody's really doing it. I wanted to have good artists, quality artists. Also, the other thing is with hip hop showcases, I don't know why you guys do this. Just get a sound man. Find a sound man,
yeah, dude. Get
the sound right, get the beats right, and make it a professional situation. If you make the artist happy, they're gonna want to come back and play for you again, So that was really my point. I wanted to show that it could be done like that, because I've been to too many of them where it was just a ridiculous mess. Nobody knew who was coming up next, nothing, you know what I mean? The host was it was terrible. So I wanted to show people that it can be done in a way that had class, and at the same time get your ass kicked by some good music.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can never get right.